everybody. We promised you, and we're not going to let you down. The official unveil of the 2016 Darlington Throwback Wave of NASCAR Authentics line is here. Right here in our headquarters at the Concord, North Carolina, Lionel Racing, and you're going to be able to get these cars, all 15 of them, in your local Walmart or Hy-Vee stores within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So make sure that you talk to the managers of those stores, make sure they're going to get this special wave, and they're not going to be in the toy section. They're going to be in a special area of those two stores where you're going to be able to find these cars. You're not going to be able to find them anywhere else than Walmart and Hy-Vee stores. It's going to be a great line. You're going to be super excited, and you're going to see all of these race cars, the real-life version, this weekend in the Bojangles Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway. Some great throwback schemes that you've been teased with for the last few weeks. Let's see what we've got for you in the Darlington Throwback Wave. First one up, back in the 1960s, Chase Elliott is showing the livery of the cars, or the delivery trucks that Napa trucks were back in the 1960s. So Chase Elliott, he's not much of a throwback guy. I mean, he's still pretty darn young, but throwing the colors of Napa from 1960s on his race car at Darlington. Next up, how about this, race fans? Number 13, the Casey Mears car, a tribute to Smokey Yunick's Best Damn Garage, the 13 car. This car was driven by drivers like Curtis Turner, Mario Andretti for so many years. Smokey Yunick, one of the greatest mechanics in NASCAR history. Casey Mears and the Geico ride showing tribute to him this year at Darlington Raceway. Next up, another great-looking race car. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at Roush Fenway Racing, throwing it back to Darrell Waltrip's number 17. This car actually, or the car that this one is based off of, won a race with Darrell Waltrip driving it at the Fairgrounds, Nashville, back in the 1970s. So, really cool paint scheme, and I know Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is a big Darrell Waltrip fan, so that's why he chose to pay tribute to Jaws, as they called Darrell Waltrip back in the day, at Darlington. This one doesn't really need much of an explanation. The Petty blue colors, Eric Almirola, the 43 for Richard Petty Motorsports. This scheme was from back in 1979 with Richard Petty behind the wheel of the Petty Enterprises car. 1979, the championship year for Richard Petty. So naturally, Eric Almirola going to throw back in time to that great year for Richard Petty. How about this one, folks? Cale Yarborough's Busch Ride. Sure, Kevin Harvick's run these colors a couple of times already in 2016, but isn't that going to be so cool when this car hits the pavement, the old worn-out pavement at Darlington Raceway this weekend? And it's going to be a great addition to your collection, this 1/64th scale car. The Busch colors. As you notice, it's going to have a base underneath it. What a great addition to your collection, this Busch number 4 car with Cale Yarborough. You might remember the fight in the 1979 Daytona 500. Yeah, Cale Yarborough was driving that race car back then. Darrell Waltrip will have a couple of cars paying tribute to him this year at Darlington Raceway. This time it's going to be Denny Hamlin in the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. Waltrip won a bunch of races in Junior Johnson's number 11 car that this one for Denny Hamlin is based off of. Denny Hamlin was a big fan of Darrell Waltrip's and wanted to pay tribute to a fellow number 11, so that's why that car will have that red, white, and blue scheme at Darlington. Another race car that I know you fans are excited about, the Gray Ghost. Buddy Baker driving that car back in the day. What a great tribute that Dale Earnhardt Jr. will have on that 88 car. Of course, we all wish Dale Jr. could be driving that car this weekend at Darlington. We still hope that he's feeling good and we get him back on the racetrack soon. But when that Gray Ghost hits the pavement again at Darlington, fans are going to be pretty pumped up. That is for sure. We'll do a twofer on this one. Austin Dillon and Ryan Newman for Richard Childress Racing. Throwing it back to the 1980s. When Ricky Rudd took Richard Childress Racing its first win at Riverside International Raceway, that now closed road course out in California. Two really cool-looking race cars, and I'll tell you what, I was at the unveil of these two actual race cars at RCR a couple of weeks back, and a lot of people are excited about this, and it was great to see the Rooster, Ricky Rudd, there at RCR telling great stories of that victory from way back when. And this is getting towards my generation now, folks. The Alan Kawicki. Number 7 tribute, Regan Smith at Tommy Baldwin Racing, throwing it back to Alan Kawicki, of course, a great NASCAR champion that we lost way too soon. But it's going to be amazing to see the old number 7 orange and white colors back on the racetrack at Darlington and on your shelves as part of the NASCAR Authentics throwback line that you can get again in your Walmart and Hy-Vee stores in the next 2 to 3 weeks. There's the first 10 cars. We promised you 15. We got a handful left, and they are pretty darn awesome, if I do say so myself. The next one, how about this? Dale Jarrett race car that won the Daytona 500. It was the first ever win for Joe Gibbs Racing. Kyle Busch will be behind the wheel of the JGR 18 Toyota this time around. A great paint scheme that I know a lot of fans, if you're anywhere from probably 20 to 40 years old, this was right in your heyday when NASCAR was king. It still is today, but I'll tell you what a great looking race car that one is. This one's for you stock car and you open wheel IndyCar fans. Paul Menard throwing it back to Al Unser Jr.'s one and only stock car start was back in the 1993, I believe, Daytona 500. Of course, Paul Menard and his family have a great open wheel history, and that is why Paul Menard wanted to throw it back to Al Unser Jr.'s one and only stock car paint scheme that ran at Daytona. And Menard will certainly have those Valvoline colors going fast at Darlington this weekend. How about this one? Mark Martin tribute for the number 6 car out of Roush Fenway Racing, Trevor Bayne. That red, white, and blue paint scheme. Won a bunch of races with Mark Martin behind the wheel. Was one of the pioneers of Roush Racing. And that legacy of the number 6 being carried on today and this weekend at Darlington by Trevor Bayne. We got 2 cars left to show off to you. This one's probably one of my favorites. Growing up a big Tony Stewart fan, and it's awesome to see Carl Edwards pay homage to the rookie season of Tony Stewart. Of course, that Home Depot color is now going to be the Eris Toyota for Carl Edwards. It's going to be a lot of fun watching Carl Edwards, of course, the defending winner of the Bojangles Southern 500. And I know whether you're a Tony Stewart or a Carl Edwards fan, you're going to want to pick this one up at your local Walmart or Hy-Vee store in the next few weeks. Last and certainly not least, Danica Patrick. This one, double chocolate brownie car from Nature's Bakery. Now, if you can't tell, I'm a big fan of some double chocolate brownies. And Danica Patrick, not necessarily a tribute to any past paint scheme, but certainly going with a retro look on that number 10 Chevrolet. There you are, folks. There's all 15 cars that'll be part of this special Darlington throwback wave of NASCAR Authentics. If you want more information on these cars or to check them out, you gotta definitely check out LionelAuthentics.com for more. That information will be up on the website soon. And like we said, within the next 2 to 3 weeks, all 15 of these cars will be on a special packaging area at your local Walmart and Hy-Vee stores. You're going to want to get them. If you're not sure if your local store is going to have these cars, talk to the manager. Say, hey, I want the Darlington throwback 1/64th scale cars of the NASCAR Authentics line. Make sure that the manager of those local stores gets these cars in within the next 2 to 3 weeks, and you pick them up because they're going to be amazing additions to your collection. There's going to be even more cars announced soon, so you're definitely going to want to keep checking this out. There's going to be more cars as part of this NASCAR Authentic line that you're going to want to add to your collection. What do you think, race fans? Keep hitting us up here on Facebook and on Twitter. We want to hear from you what you think of these race cars, and we want to see your collections once you get them. We want to see how good they look in your house. That's it, folks. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time here at Lionel Racing.